Hi, my name's Chris Brighouse, and I'd like to tell you about an app I've been building whilst I've been waiting to start a new product director role. It's called App It Up. I'll tell you a little bit about why I'm building it and go on to show you a demo, and then we can talk about the architecture and how I built it. So first of all, I wanted to investigate the capabilities of the app builders. So Devin, ChatPRD, both good tools. GitHub Spec Kit is very much a specification-centric approach. Then, of course, Claude Code and OpenAI Codex are the two leading code generators, which have really come on in the last couple of months or so. So my background is really as an experienced product manager. I was a developer many years ago, but I haven't done any development for a long time, and I wanted to see if I could build an application entirely on my own without any developers. So I primarily ended up focusing on ChatGPT's Codex with GPT-5 using the Plus plan, which is only $20 a month. That really worked out the most cost effective, although I think Claude Code is very good as well. Everything else was based on the free tiers that are available. So let's get in and have a look at the application. So you log in first of all to appitup.ai, and this brings you to the home page of the application. I've used this character Alfie to add a bit of humanity to the application. But it's a nice interface, very easy to follow. You can see we've got an About home page as well, giving you a bit more background to the application. So let's go ahead and sign in. There's all the usual registration and forgot password functionality, and you come to this designer page and you can see that we've got these 4 steps: request, outline, design and output. And this is where you provide the request that you want to build, the application that you want to build. So the first thing we might try is something simple. Let's just try boil an egg. Obviously not the best thing for an agentic application. And the system will come back and tell you obviously not a very good fit. So let's put in a better idea so we can revise that. And I've got some text here about an open water swimming facility or business. So let's put that in, and you can see below you can pick an area of expertise. There's some engineering, construction and operations expertise in here, that's the area that I work in, but let's just pick the general one for this case. And then the system goes away and checks, and it generates, it says yes, this is a good idea. It generates a name for your application. It's going to call it Aqua Haven, very creative. And then we go ahead, and the first step is to generate the outline. And the outline will define how many agents we're going to use and what those agents are. So you can see we've got an ID for the application or design as it's called. We've got a booking agent, we've got a compliance agent, a facility agent and a user interface agent for this application. And there's a bit about the flow there. We can also generate mermaid diagrams, which show you the relationship between the different agents at a high level. And then on the right here we can put in general comments. For example, if we want to change the number of agents, let's go down to 3 agents. And there's a question asked there as well, and we can iterate around on this outline up to 5 times. And then when we submit the updates to the agent, it will go around and reevaluate the outline. And in this case, it will come back with a new summary, this time with only the 3 agents. And you can see we've got a new mermaid diagram with just the 3 agents included there. So you can go around up to 5 times here, but in this case we'll just accept the outline. And then what it does is it goes through each agent in turn, generating the detailed design. So the first one, the booking agent, you can see is generating can go ahead. We can still use the user interface whilst it's doing this. It will fill them in. So the booking agent, you can see, follows a sort of structured design with the responsibilities, inputs, outputs, various things going down, including triggers, guardrails, and a number of things that are needed for the agent design. We can also iterate on these agents. So for example, here we have the compliance facility agent, and we can add attachments. So in this case, if I wanted to add perhaps something about safety, I've got a freshwater swimming safety document here. We'll give that a name just to use in the UI as well. So you can upload a few documents, and these go into the sort of chunking embeddings model as well. We can add further comments, we can submit that, and all of that gets regenerated into an updated agent design. So then we work through all of the designs. Part of the design process also involves the chat. So you can see in the chat that the chat is aware of the design that you're currently working on. So we can ask about the swimming standards most important for Aquahaven, and it has sources from the design that's been generated and the attachments, and it gives you the feedback there. So we can look at those sources. You could see the iterations. I've also added an MCP facility in here, so you can throw in different MCP integrations. I've just added a coordinates one just for demonstration. You can see it's, when you ask for coordinates, it's using the MCP to go and find those coordinates and bring them back to the chat. Okay, so we go through the booking agent, and then when everything is completed, we can go to the design output. And the design output gives you a number of different options really for outputting all of the information that's been generated. So you can have a full English summary in a markdown format. There's also more detailed technical build instructions there. And I've also generated a manifest for the OpenAI assistance model, and you can download those for each agent and use those straight away into OpenAI. There's also a quick summary at the bottom. There's a full JSON breakdown you can get as well. So I also wanted to show that this is a fully formed application in that we've got admin functionality in here. So a whole bunch of different areas that you can look at to monitor and modify the application. We've also got our about screen that you saw earlier. We've generated full help pages. So these are really generated from the agent's MD, and we also have a pricing model as well, which is honoured. So different users come in obviously on the free plan to start with, and you can upgrade to the other plan. There's no current financial sort of payments switched on yet, but the mechanisms are all there. Okay, so I hope you find this interesting. Just in terms of finishing off, this is the architecture, actually also generated by GPT-5. You can see the main components that we've got in the architecture here. React and Vite front end. We use Cloudflare and Supabase in the back end. And from an actual development process point of view, I'm storing the code in GitHub. Also use a GitHub project to track the user stories using a Kanban board. And I have a template for user stories, so the prompts get defined in the user stories, which is it's a really interesting exercise to sort of think ahead. It gives you time to plan a few prompts and discussions ahead, and then you can interact with the codex system when you come to build it. So it's all built around VS Code, codex running in the terminal. It does sync automatically to GitHub. And I've got two separate environments, a staging and a production environment, so I can try everything out on staging with its own database and so on, and then push to production when I need to. And it's all managed through Cloudflare using the Wrangler mechanism to push automatically out to the deployment system. So I hope you found this interesting. It certainly opened up lots of interesting areas for me, particularly useful in my job. I'd be very interested to hear your comments and thoughts and feedback. And thank you very much for taking the time to listen.